Welcome in, welcome in to another prospect breakdown. Today we have Mr. Derek Stingley Jr. He is from my LSU. He is 6 feet tall, 190, or he was at the combine. I thought he was a little bit taller. Definitely plays taller than 6 feet. I don't know. I just have a feeling he's 6'1" at least. Not even that big of a difference. Age when drafted. Just like Drake London in the last one, he is not even going to be technically allowed to drink um, when he is drafted into the NFL and gets millions and millions of dollars. His 2019 PFF grade was 91.7, so that is a very elite grade from PFF as an 18-year-old, which is absurd. He was covering the best receivers in the nation in college football, in the SEC, and then throughout the college football playoffs. I had a pretty spicy sandwich, so I'm kind of struggling here a little bit. Pros, where he wins, um, man coverage, press. I mean, honestly, kind of any sort of man coverage, but press primarily, just because that's if you can win as a press man corner in the NFL. Um, if you can win consistently, that is sort of a dying skill, but one of the most valuable things. The most valuable thing is this right here, island potential. Sauce Gardner is another corner who I would say has island potential. But I would feel better. There's a little bit higher percent chance of Derek Stingley, I think, becoming that or being that, honestly, from day one. Because just looking back at his freshman tape, I mean, and being able to watch him live, this dude just erases your number one receiver or whoever he's matched up against. Like, good luck. Go ahead, target him because he has unbelievable ball skills. Like, there's been rumors about him playing both ways or getting a good amount of reps at receiver here at LSU over the last 2 years, really as a freshman too. But they just kind of wanted him to focus on corner, and then he's been injured a little bit. So that hasn't really come into fruition, but I could 100% see him playing both ways, see him playing receiver. He ran, so this will tie into the freaky athlete overall. Just ridiculous straight line speed paired with the Trent McDuffie, Kyler Gordon burst, paired with the most fluid, almost flawless technique you will see in press man. He did occasionally get on in breaking routes or like quick slants, kind of, just because he almost always anticipated his guy going out or always wanted to make a big play. Not always, too. Most of the time. He was still overall, compared to most other corners, way better than them on in breaking routes. But where he made his money his freshman year was just like anything outside of the hashes. If you threw it his way, it was probably going to get picked. But if it wasn't picked, he was going to break it up. Cons, injuries over the last 2 years. I don't think either one has been super serious for his like long-term health, but it is just something to be weary of. He's not as dominant in zone as in man. He also just didn't play a whole lot of zone here at LSU because if you have Derek Stingley, I mean, just put him press man on their best corner and erase him for that game. I don't know why you would do something different. And then he's not an elite tackler. I mean, he had a pretty high miss tackle percentage, but I don't know. I saw enough plays where he was willing to get his head in there, force some fumbles, had some big hits, which I know that's not all tackling is, and you'd rather just see consistency. But I mean, he's a capable tackler. He's going to win by being an eraser in coverage. And then I'm going to flip over real quick to the PFF draft guide. Five stars. I mean, coming in here, I don't think they have his physical stuff, but as a high schooler, so coming into LSU, he had run a 4.3. He had jumped above 38 inches, I want to say, possibly in the 40s as a high schooler. I mean, 2 injury plagued years, yeah, but first class speed, no fear of getting beaten deep, which that's kind of what I alluded to earlier. I wanted to see him anticipate in breaking routes, and then because he has elite, even for the NFL, elite recoverability on deep routes and routes outside the hashes, just because he has unreal ball skills. I don't know if, yeah, he doesn't have that listed as a pro, but press man pedigree, like I said, feet and hips you don't see every day for a tall corner. And then there's the missed tackle percentage. And then too often lost when passing receivers off into zone coverage, but zone and just the defense in general, outside of press man, lock this guy down. That's a lot of just LSU's defense schematically, and LSU's kind of been a shit show the last 2 years. So I don't necessarily put too much weight into that. I mean, he allowed up 5 touchdowns technically freshman year, but he also had 6 picks, and he was a true freshman, 18 years old, starting for LSU, playing unbelievable competition like the Bama team, the Georgia team. We played a pretty good Florida team, pretty good Auburn team that year, and then we played Oklahoma in the college football playoffs, and then Clemson, and we just rolled through everybody. Completion percentage, yeah, the completion percentage went up pretty significantly, but it's also like 76 coverage snaps. He got targeted 5 times, so you can't, like I said, put much weight into that. Where he wins athleticism, just unbelievable athlete all around, every single box. And then what's his role? Island. Yeah. Worry about the rest of your defense. He can be the island corner that doesn't require safety help. And if he stays healthy, he could be the most valuable corner in the NFL in a year or two. Jalen Ramsey does still exist. But if he plays like he did literally just as a freshman, or shows any signs of improvement, he'll be on that Ramsey level sooner rather than later if he stays healthy. What he can improve, consistency, yeah, 100%. Lackadaisical. There we go. Okay, so yeah, that wasn't unique to him on the LSU roster. I haven't seen many people talking about that in terms of, like, some analysts are saying that he has effort concerns and not necessarily that high of a motor. I don't really think I see that. That was sort of just our defense in general. You obviously want to see a guy going balls to the wall every single snap, but I mean, there's no good excuse for not doing that. Um, but I wouldn't let it hinder his evaluation or like where you put him on your draft board just because of the situation that he was in here at LSU and how it kind of, like I said, turned into a shit show these last couple years with Coach O after the national championship and all that Coach O was doing. Oh, so this is just 2021 data, so like none of that really matters. Speed 10 out of 10, awareness 7 out of 10. If there was ball skills, that would be 10 out of 10. I wish that they would just put his high school numbers here because he would be very elite in all of them as a high schooler, which is absurd. So his roles listed up here really, I mean, I've seen him mocked outside of the top 15, outside of the top 20, I think. If this dude, I mean, in my opinion, he shouldn't make it outside of the top 5. What's more valuable than, outside of cornerback, what's more valuable than a Jalen Ramsey, than a Darrelle Revis Island, a guy where you can put a corner on their best receiver for the entire game and quarterbacks will think twice throwing to their number one guy for the entire game. That is incredibly valuable in the NFL. And if he stays healthy, that's his role. I mean, he could go to any team. I'm thinking like Falcons. If they, I would 100% take Stingley above Sauce. I still think Sauce would be a top 10 value and a top 10 talent. So I wouldn't complain if Sauce went before Stingley, or I wouldn't complain that much. But if you get Stingley outside of the top 5, you're getting a steal, especially outside of the top 10, outside of the top 15. That would just be absurd. But honestly, he's going to be one of my favorite players in the NFL. He does have, it doesn't really matter, but kind of some character concerns. Just may or may not have nothing serious, but just some LSU rumors. But he's probably going to be one of my favorite players to watch in the NFL. Day one, he was in college. Just seeing a dominant corner is one of the most fun things, in my opinion, to watch in football, especially one with the ball skills that he does. But I'm ranting at this point. I love Derek Stingley. He's my number one corner. He would definitely be, top 5 on my big board. Whoever gets him, you're getting a monster. Just elite corner specimen. Elite football specimen. Honestly, fucking play Derek Stingley both ways in the NFL. He'd be a monster receiver as well. He would be a monster receiver. That would be insane. With his speed, his movement skills, his ball skills, this dude could make, he's going to make a lot of money playing defense, but he could make a lot of money playing offense as well. That's it. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.